you're angry. And is it like when you lose that big, like, come on. It's not like you lost by a touchdown or 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Dog, they dropped 70 on you like you were Nebraska in the 90s.
Yeah. How about this? Shanahan is probably going to eclipse. He's probably going to be second all time. We'll see if he gets to 152. But 49er head coaches games, coach leaders. Buck Shaw, 114. George Seifert, 128. Bill Walsh, 152. As we talk about Sean Payton and the games he's coached and the years he has and the money he's making. Dick Nolan, 112. Mooch with 96. Shanahan with 96. Shanahan and Lynch are going to be here through 2028. Their original extensions were through 2025. They get extended, and it feels right that they did get extended. That was a news dump on a Friday. Kind of came out of nowhere. Nobody had any idea that it was in the works. Well, they get it done. And now that they get it done, and you watched Jimmy Garoppolo last night, and we're going to get to Adam and SF in just a second. You watched Jimmy Garoppolo last night, and you're like, oh, wow. Jimmy Garoppolo has regressed. And all the talk he had this offseason about having full autonomy at the line of scrimmage and Josh McDaniel, his offense is suited for him and blah, 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 blah. And then you hear the other side about Shanahan and Lynch being mad at Jimmy for not being part of the team meetings last season. We saw Trey Lance with the Microsoft Surface helping out Brock Purdy and now Jimmy Garoppolo. And then we watched Jimmy Garoppolo walk on that field in Philadelphia. The first thing I said to you, Chaz, was like, boy, it looks like he could suit up. Now, I get it, your foot. You got to look out for yourself, and maybe you don't want to play injured. But it's the NFC Championship game. Everybody's not healthy. Christian McCaffrey, Tim Ryan told us in training camp, Christian McCaffrey shouldn't have been playing that game.
His entire leg was purple.
Yeah. They didn't even know if he was going to play.
Yeah.
And Jimmy's out there smiling on the sidelines. And then you watch him yesterday in Vegas. You're like, oh, Shanahan had to deal with that. Now it comes to the light. Now we know what Shanahan was working with. I bet you Shanahan watched that game with a smile on his face. Like, that guy took shots at me? My scheme? That guy who threw 3 picks on prime time? Who's getting Devontae Adams killed with medicine balls? The guy who's pointing to go downfield and throwing to the other side and throwing picks? That guy?
Well, I think there's a happy medium between, Jimmy was better than we gave him credit for, and he's absolutely garbage. Like, there's a happy medium. He was good, and he was the right guy at the right time. So I don't want to just destroy him.
I'm not trying to destroy him.
They started off 0-9.
Right.
I mean, he shows up. They win 5 of 6 to end the year. Like,
Jimmy was a good Niner.
That's what I'm saying.
My thing is, but all the talk this offseason and what he was saying, and even when he was on the podcast or something on Sports Illustrated, he was like, yeah, a lot of weird things goes on in San Francisco. The only weird thing that's happening to San Francisco these days is when they lose. That's the only weirdness of this football team because they're so damn good. Because they got so damn talented on this roster. It doesn't seem weird now, does it? When they're sitting at 3-0. Doesn't seem weird now when the Arizona Cardinals are coming to town and the Niners are like, oh yeah, we can't overlook them. Let's roll them. Doesn't look weird now when the Cowboys look like that yesterday in the desert and the Niners are looking the way they're looking. For all the people say, well, the Cowboys beat the New York Giants 40-0. How come the Niners can't blow out the New York Giants? How did that age?
It didn't age well at all. But I also think it's easy to come in after he plays the way he did yesterday and just crush Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not as bad as he was last night. He certainly wasn't the only reason why the 49ers won, because that graphic has kind of gone away. But that was the graphic you should see. When the 49ers have Jimmy Garoppolo, they're 20-something games over 500. And when Shanahan doesn't, he's like 20 games under 500. Right. That's gone away now that we have Brock Purdy.
And don't you feel good now that Purdy, he just seems so much more stable at the quarterback, more reliable.
That's what I would.
And just taking care of the football.
Yes.
Putting emphasis on taking care of the football. Jimmy doesn't do that and never did that.
Well, I think he gives me some of the gunslinger Brock Purdy does. Like, okay, guys coming down into my face mask. Let me backpedal and whip one to the sideline, and I'm going to take a shot downfield. Right. He gives me that, but he also gives me perfect accuracy on all the underneath stuff.
No doubt.
So you're getting kind of the best of Jimmy, and then you're getting all the stuff that he really couldn't do.
Yeah.
Let's be real. And I also think Jimmy's arm strength, just overall arm strength, maybe it's the shoulder, maybe it's just, where he's at in life or whatever, it feels like his arm's gotten slightly weaker.
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't it?
It really does. It really does.
He was floating. Even the touchdown pass to Devontae.
He's floated.
Doc, throw that over the top. Yeah. He's got like 3 steps.
And then Kenny Pickett, the next possession, throws a bomb.
And Kenny Pickett does not have a great arm, in my opinion.
But that one looked good,
No,
though.
it did look good. But in contrast to Jimmy, Kenny looks like he has a great arm.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to Adam in the city. Adam, what's happening?
Hey, good morning, guys. So you've talked about everything about the shots that Jimmy was taking, and that's what I'm here to do is call in and give some shots back. That, number one, the situation in San Francisco with the quarterbacks is really weird. Really, dog? Your guys' offense is averaging barely 10 points a game. We're over here averaging 30. So get out of here with that. Number two, the whole, I got more control at the line of scrimmage now. Like, I have so much more freedom in this offense. There's a reason why you didn't have a lot of freedom in the San Francisco offense, and we saw it last night. Like, that pick that he threw to Peterson reminded me of that Kansas City game where he just threw the ball up in the end zone, just hope, like, I don't know what you're doing, but still thinking he's one of the worst decision makers in the NFL. But the thing I take to heart is I hate when, like, anywhere, but like when it's presented on national media, when you're taking shots at San Francisco, like the city itself. And Collinsworth was talking about how much happier Garoppolo's family is and his brothers because they're Italian, and apparently Vegas has better pizza than San Francisco. I was like, that's just not true. I don't know what type of pizza they have in Vegas, but it's like you go down to North Beach, you go anywhere in San Francisco, that's just not true. So it was just really happy to see and funny to see Jimmy play the way he did last night.
We've got good pizza in the Bay Area. I will stand for it. In San Francisco alone, you got Delfina, you've got Tony's, you've
Golden
got
Boy.
My favorite, Little Joe's on Mission Street.
You got Golden Boys.
Yeah, there's a ton of them.
Senors.
I would say
Senores,
Original
Giorgio's.
Joe's to go on West Portal's good.
You got Giorgio's.
Mozzarella to Buffalo.
You got Giorgio's. You got Nazario's.
Yep.
Late night on 3rd and Gary. You got a lot of great pizza
Nazario's
spots
is
out
the
here.
late night.
Like when I think about pizza in Vegas, I'm thinking about the grab and go. Is that really good pizza?
Well, maybe he likes the thin, artisan style.
In the last 30 days.
He can go to Giolina's in Glen Park.
They just keep taking shots at the Bay. So that's why with Jimmy, it's like, all right, you keep talking, whatever. Let's go to Danker real quick in the city. Danker, what's happening?
What's up, gentlemen? I mean, Jimmy, come on, let's keep it real. He's getting Santa Clara pizza. He's not getting our San Francisco pizza. I got to push. I mean, Jimmy last night was put on a perfect display of who he is. Look at Adams. It's like night and day. He can hit good guys who he knows will get separation, but he runs them into walls. Like, that's why Brock is killing it, because Brock is not making those stupid decisions. Brock sliced up that same defense. It's early in the morning for me, but Jimmy Garoppolo is why we don't have at least one ring, and fans need to recognize that. He was the Achilles heel. And it was just so amazing last night that he gave us every part of Jimmy. And the reality is, when Jimmy needs to make a play, he can't. And Shanahan was frustrated. So, all right, guys, have a great one. Go Niners. Boo Jimmy.
Boo Jimmy. Jimmy was a good Niner, but the Jimmy Ono throw became a thing.
I feel like we're going over the top.
Yeah, we are going a little over top, but we shouldn't dance on his
He
parade.
was a good
He
Niner.
was a very good Niner.
But
he helped change the culture.
He has
He'll
flaws.
change this program around, no doubt about it.
He
But it
has
was
flaws.
like,
If you were asking me, Joe, like they have the law where there's like the scale and it's like one side or the other, and apparently when you go up, I think it was Greek mythology where you'd have all your evil doings and all your good doings, and if one outweighs the other, then you go to heaven. I'm probably messing that up. I'm sure somebody with Greek mythology will come in with better actual
I'm not gonna
knowledge
go
of this.
that
I'm
way.
expecting a Steiny text at any moment.
I fell asleep during that segment of my history
But
class.
the point being, if I had to weigh it, is it more Shanahan or more Jimmy G?
Oh, it looks like it's more Shanahan.
Yeah.
It looks like it's
but
more
it's
Shanahan.
not like 99-1.
It felt
but it's a little more like 75-25.
It felt like without even coaching a game yesterday that Shanahan was elevated by watching Jimmy Garoppolo.
Well, and just looking around the league.
Right, just looking around the league. So we'll get to this before we get into the extensions.
It was Egypt. Everyone's telling me it's Egypt.
Okay,
Okay,
it's
thank
Egypt.
you. I
All
knew
right.
it was some
Egyptian.
ancient culture. Thank you.
By the way, right here in the trenches, we'll get to this. Should have never shared that hoop footage. Yeah, okay. I haven't played in 3 years.
You look good. What are you talking about? I thought you looked good.
Hey, my ankle
Good
is
soft
throbbing.
hands.
Yeah, no, I got a soft touch
putback,
around the rim.
Little bounce as you were going backwards. I was impressed.
I hit a jumper. By the way, these twins, Ben and Daniel, man, they were lighting me up in one game. Dude was hitting threes from 30
How
feet
old
in
were
my
they?
face. They're probably 10 years younger.
Yeah,
They
I
were
mean,
laughing.
come on.
And for some reason,
Come on.
when you're, on this platform as a radio host or you're on television. And there was a lot of love out there. Shout out to the Warriors World Tournament and Sheed and everybody. All proceeds.
So explain to those who don't know what you're talking about.
So it was the 10th annual Warriors World Charity Tournament. Took place at the old Warriors practice facility. So all the murals of Chris Mullin, Mitch Richmond, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Tim Hardaway, it was all up there. We got to play on the same court as Steph Curry and all the legends practice on for many, many years.
Okay.
10th annual Warriors World Charity Tournament took place at the Warriors Basketball Academy. Shout out to the Warriors Basketball Academy. They do a great job. We're going to catch up with them later on and do some passing drills, some shooting drills. There are a lot of great people there with the Warriors Basketball Academy. Proceeds benefited Project Level, who Big Rich, I went to high school with, youth nonprofit in San Francisco, benefited that charity, Project Level. So 3-on-3 tournament, half court, 4 groups. You play about 4 games, and you advance to the playoffs if you do. And we advanced to the playoffs. We had no idea due to point differential. 95-70 game won their first ever game. We had no subs. Shout out to Trevor Dunbar, my man Chucky. Chucky hadn't played he played college basketball back in 04, so he's a little older. And you know Trevor Dunbar is shifty. Baller.
Great handles.
I mean, he was carrying us.
St. Ignatius.
Carrying us. St. Ignatius High School. I love the Dunbar family.
And he's got bounce for a guy his height.
Oh, yeah. Big time bounce.
Yeah, he's got handles.
And he takes it serious.
I could tell.
Yeah, he takes it serious.
I follow him on Instagram. Yeah, I know. I'm
he
well
takes
aware.
It serious. He's not playing out there. So it was a lot of fun out there. So I was thinking, boy, my guy's going to show up. I had no idea who was going to show up for us. Well, a couple people flaked.
Who flaked?
A couple guys we had on the team didn't
I
even
thought you
make
meant
it.
95-7 people. My bad. I don't mean like that.
Well, Derek Guru Johnson. We'll get to him. And you know what? He had to go to Michael Urban's funeral. I'll stall him out. I'll tell you, this is the last time I try to construct a team for 95-7 game. I wanted out of it, and this is why. But
your status was elevated because the highlights came out yesterday.
The highlights came out.
And I thought that you looked great.
Hey, listen.
And I mean that sincerely.
Listen, I had to go play in the Jordan 3s. I should have went to the car, got the Currys out the trunk. I didn't. But I went out there and played.
You're making it sound like you're Marquez Johnson in Above the Rim. I'm going out, not above the rim. I'm going to the trunk.
I'm going to the trunk to go get my gun. Fake rob. Try to rob the liquor store. It's like, yo, get the damn ski mask up, man. Get the hell up out of here.
It's one of my favorite scenes.
So I had to go out there and play. And so, you know, when I hear a lot of talk over the years here in 95-7 a game about, I could do this on the hoop court, I could do that. I know what's what.
Who says that?
Well, a lot of you guys were talking. You were talking. A lot of people talk around here about their hoop game. Yet nobody showed up last Saturday except for your boy.
Okay.
So I just put the team on our back and go out there and represent for 95-7 a game. So, you know what? My ankles are throbbing. Anita at the Olympic Club, I need you today. My Achilles is on fire right now. Darrell Wright played for Team NBC, and they had us mic'd up. So some content will be coming out about this tournament. But it was a lot. It was a good, overall, it was just a good time. And a lot of people were showing love for the morning roast for 95-7 game for NBC. So it was a good time to go out there. Kurt Lakem's team won it for like the 3rd or 4th straight year.
Who was on his team?
He had a couple guys from the O Club.
Oh, yeah?
A couple guys from the O Club. My guy, I'm forgetting his name. Hopefully he texts me. I'm forgetting his name, but he was at Fight Night. He was at Fight Night for the Olympic Club Foundation. I need to shout out somebody. I forget their names. Yeah. And my pump fake is good, man. I got a good pump too. I'm telling you, man. In my day, I could ball. I'm not great, not elite. I'm not saying that. I have my limitations, but the boy could hoop. So all this thing of, oh man, you suck at this and you suck at that, man. I just don't talk about it. I'm not going to talk about what I could do 20 years ago. That's lame to me. But some of you guys around here, we need to get a game because now I got the itch again. There's a lot of people are talking about their game and this and that. And then when I see them go out there and play, Lucas Alexander, and I'm laughing like, okay, you'll get caught.
Where was he?
Well, he's rehabbing from an ACL injury.
For like 2 years?
So that's what I'm saying. A lot of you guys are getting hurt left and right. And that's why I don't go hard because my Achilles is on fire this morning. I was screaming and one. Oh, I was out there talking.
Really?
I was out there talking.
Good for you.
Anyway, you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ, FM and HG1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Don't forget, you could also watch us
you coaching
every day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Sponsored by our very good friends at First NorCal Credit Union. Just log on and search 95.7 The Game. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you are there. This is a Monster Monday brought to you by First 5 California. To learn 4 things you can do to overcome toxic stress, go to first5california.com. Start to line them up. 888-957-9570. A couple things coming up here in the 7 o'clock hour. One, how do you feel about the Lynch and Shanahan extensions? Niner fans, I want to hear from you. That happened on Friday. Number 2, we got shameless shout-outs at 7:45. We didn't do it on Friday,
Oh.
so I want to do it today, and we'll do a double dip this week.
Okay.
with shameless shout-outs. It is a Monday. Shout out your high schools. A lot of high school football over the weekend. A lot of bad scores I saw. Sacred Heart Cathedral girls flag football team beat SI 19-0.
In honor of the Shanahan extension, because he's now gotten 2 extensions, Harbaugh never got the 1.
Yeah.
Game to win right now. Same rosters. You going with Harbaugh? You going with Shanahan?
They both won a lot of big games. I don't think
Harbaugh
that's
had
fair.
7 playoff victories and 4 losses.
Yeah,
Or excuse me, 3 losses, 7 and 3.
I don't want to do that. That's not fair.
I'm just asking.
A lot of people are going to say Shanahan now because of what Harbaugh's done at Michigan. But the fact that he's got Michigan in the playoff twice, people forget what Brady Hoke did to freaking Michigan University or University of Michigan.
I don't know how many people are going to use his college coaching. I
think a lot of people do.
Coach.
Well, here's one.
Okay.
Mr. Patel. Both choke with their offense when it matters. Both choke in the big game.
I don't think it's just
I don't
because of
know.
the offense that they've lost.
Listen, if you were to take Shanahan, I'll happily take Harbaugh.
They're
if you were
very
to take
comparable.
Harbaugh, I'll take Shanahan.
They're very comparable.
They both have won a lot of big games. They've gotten Niners close.
I know.
Now, Shanahan's going to have a longer opportunity to get the Niners over the top. He will.
You know, I'm looking at Harbaugh's record, 59, 36, and 1. He's 62% winning percentage. We all agree he inherited a better roster.
Right.
Right? And you're looking at Shanahan right now. He's 55 and 46, a 54% winning percentage. But he started off 0-9, and again, took over a team with 0 Pro Bowlers.
Yeah. But you know what? Like you just said about LaFleur, you get credit for inheriting a roster and taking them over the top.
Absolutely.
Those guys were not winners. Patrick Willis, Frank Gore, like a lot of people say, because I remember before that season, and the expectations for that season were not high at all with that roster. We can't go back and revision his history and say, oh, well, he had a stacked roster. Nobody thought highly of the 49ers roster when Harbaugh took it over.
No, but they inherited multiple Pro Bowlers.
They did.
That's the only difference. Like, I mean, if we were just saying blue chip players heading into that, Vernon did have a pretty solid run with Singletary before. Gore was already established. Patrick Willis was clearly established. They had players. Justin Smith was established. They had no one. I mean, Shanahan had no one. To me, the big difference is it's not just the coaching and the in-game stuff. But when it comes to building an entire roster and then filling out a coaching staff year after year after you get poached, Shanahan gets the edge.
But I don't want to disrespect Harbaugh.
No, I don't
because
think
in 2011, with the lockout season, a lot of people thought the Niners were going to stink. They did. Niner fans thought they were going to stink. No Niner fan believed in Harbaugh and the 49ers.
Year one.
It took
at the beginning.
Some started to believe after the Philly game.
When they lost to the Cowboys in week 2, everybody was frustrated.
Then they beat Cincinnati like 13-8 or something like that. It was an ugly score.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I remember when Harbaugh said it after the game. Harbaugh after the game said, "Who's got it better than us?" And everyone's like, "Nobody." They didn't really care. And then they beat Philadelphia. It was like, "Oh wait, we may have something."
Well, then
they blew out Tampa Bay. Then it was like, "Oh wait, we may have something." Then the Detroit game was like, "Oh, maybe we are cooking." Then they beat the New York Giants in the regular season, and they were 8-1. It was like, "Okay, yes, now we have something here." But going in, I don't want to disrespect Harbaugh saying, "Well, you inherited this and that," because those guys stunk, and nobody believed that they were going to be good.
I just think it's when you're comparing and contrasting, you have to add in the context. That's all.
You do have to add in context.
Have to add that in.
But like LaFleur, like some of these other teams, you get credit for inheriting that roster and taking them to another level.
Well, I look at them, like, again, 2013, they dropped down to 24th in offense. 2014, they were 20th. Shanahan's never been outside of 15 in offense. The 2 years, it was 2018 when he lost Jimmy G, 2020 when he lost Jimmy G, everything else, 13th, 16th, 4th, 15th, 7th, 5th, again in the top 5.
How many is that due to playing a lot of bad football teams?
Talking about Shanahan?
Because I do think context matters when it comes to this offense. This right here, this year, is the best offense he's ever had in San Francisco.